time to get back to the work. So we have lesson 4-7, which is subtracting expressions. In this lesson you will learn how to subtract expressions using the properties of operations, and it's very similar to adding expressions, which we did last time in section 4-6. So if you're ready to get started, let's go ahead and get to the board.
Topic 4-7.
Alright, so now that we're at the board, let's take a look at how to rewrite the expression without parentheses. So we're going to be subtracting terms this time rather than adding them. So when we're combining the two terms, again, instead of addition, we do subtraction. So we've got a 15.6m and we've got a 3.93m. Now in the past we would have added these two things, but I'm going to show you how to write it so it gets a little bit clearer on how to do this. We have 15.6m, and we're going to be subtracting a positive 3.3. So subtracting 3.93m. And then we have just this 2 over here that we're subtracting a 2. So it's going to be a minus 2. And there's nothing really to do with that. There's no other constant term to add to it. So when we subtract the m terms, we have 15.6 minus 3.93, and that gives us 11.67 m. So simplifying this, we have 11.67 m minus 2. That is your answer. Alright, so this time we're going to write an equivalent expression without parentheses. This time we have some distribution to do first, and we learned this skill way back in 4-4, distributive property. So negative 2 gets multiplied to the 1.5h. When you multiply negative 2 times 1.5, you're going to get negative 3h. So you can already see that these two terms, c and d, are not going to be right because they have the negative 10h and negative 12h up here. That's not going to be the right answer. Now we have negative 2 multiplied by positive 5, that's going to give you negative 10, or plus negative 10 as they wrote down here. So we're going to see this as B. But we're going to go ahead and make sure we've got this all proper just before we finish up. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 0.5. When you do that multiplication, you're going to get a positive 2. Negative times a negative is a positive. Then you have that negative 4 multiplied by a positive 3h. So we're going to get a negative 12h. So again, we can see clearly that B is the correct answer. Alright, so now we have a word problem here. A bag of mixed nuts contains only almonds and hazelnuts. The bag has 3x minus 7 hazelnuts and 6x plus 13 nuts in all. So that's the total of all the nuts. Find an expression that represents the number of almonds in the bag. Then simplify that expression. So what we need to do is figure out which one is being subtracted by which. Well, if we're looking at all the nuts, we have 6x plus 13 nuts in the total bag. And it only has two kinds of nuts, and we don't want the hazelnuts. We already know how many hazelnuts are there. We're trying to find out how many almonds are there. So we're going to be subtracting the hazelnuts to find out how many almonds are there. So we're subtracting 3x minus 7 for the hazelnuts. So you'll see, right off the bat, you can tell that B and D are not the correct answer because they show the 6x plus 13 being subtracted from the 3x minus 7. And that can't make any sense because we're subtracting the whole bag from the hazelnuts. So we can't have negative numbers of almonds. That doesn't make any sense. So it's going to have to be A or B. Now the difference here is the parentheses. You see this, right? So because of that, remember this negative gets multiplied to everything just like the last example. We have to pretend that there's this negative, there's this little 1 right there. So that negative 1 is what gets multiplied to every term. So this one, A, can't be correct because a negative times a negative 7 would make that a positive 7. So it can't be A. C is correct because that negative 1 would then get multiplied to make the 3x a negative, and the negative 7 is going to become a positive. So C would be the correct answer here. Now they want to know how many almonds are in the bag, so we have to actually do the distribution. So we have 6x minus 3x, and then we have 13 plus 7, because that -1 multiplied by the -7 will make it a positive. So 6x minus 3x is going to be 3x. And then 13 plus 7 gives us 20. So our correct answer for this, we're writing this right here in this box, would be 3x plus 20. That's how many almonds are in the bag. Okay, students, so this one, we're going to be looking at which simplified expression is the difference of these two terms. So remember, the difference just means subtraction. And remember that when we're subtracting these two, if it's just a negative here, just a minus, we pretend it's a -1, which changes the sign of everything in the second expression. So let's write that first expression down here. 0.5n plus 0.3. Then we change the signs. So negative 0.75n and now a positive 0.45. So now we're going to combine the terms the same. We're going to take the n term first. 0.5n minus 0.75n, and that will give us negative 0.25n. These two combined. Then we have positive 0.3 plus a positive 0.45. So we're going to have 0.3 plus 0.45, which will give us 0.75. So our answer should be negative 0.25n plus 0.75. So let's see which of these options gives us the correct answer. Well, it's certainly not A, because that's a positive 0.25n. That's not it. There is a negative 0.25. There's our correct answer. But let's see what's wrong with C and D. C can't be correct because the 0.25n is positive. And we have the wrong number and the positive number here. They added these as if it was a negative and a positive. So that is why it can't be B. B would be your correct answer. Now we're going to be subtracting expressions with multiple terms. Just as a reminder, when we see this -1 here, all we're going to be doing is multiplying -1 to each term inside the parentheses, which is really just going to change its sign. Now, if it had a -2 or a -3, we would multiply by that negative number, which will still change the sign, but it'll just be times 2, times 3, whatever. All right, so in this example, we have 3 different types of terms. We have 2 B terms, we have 2 K terms, and we have 2 constants. So we're going to take the B terms first and just take a look at them. We have a negative 4.25B from right here. And then we have, again, we're going to change the signs here. So let's just go ahead and change these signs. This is going to be a -6. This is going to be a negative 3.75B. And then that's going to be a positive 2K. Alright, so negative 4.25B minus 3.75B. When we add those things together, we get negative 8B. So there's our first term. Then we'll take our K term. We have a negative 7K. And then we have a positive 2K. When we do that, we have a negative 5K. That's our second term. Then, of course, we have a 15. And we have a -6. So, when we subtract those, we get 9. So our complete answer is going to be negative 8B minus 5K plus 9. There's our answer. Alright, we have one more example left. Tim incorrectly wrote the expression 1/2 p minus 1/4 p minus 4 as 3/4 p minus 4. They want us to rewrite the expression without parentheses correctly. And then we're going to figure out what was Tim's likely error. So let's go ahead and do this together. Let's write this down here. So 1/2 p minus 1/4 p minus 4. Alright, so if you remember correctly, we have to take this negative, pretend it's a -1, and multiply it to every term so that it changes the sign. So what we would still have is this 1/2 p out here. Alright, that immediately eliminates option A because they've got the 1/4 p out there. Then 1/2 p, we have minus, so that's a negative, right? Minus 1/4 p, and then negative times a negative is a positive 4. Let's see which of these options fits us. There's 1/2 p minus 1/4 p. Oh, that's got a -4. That can't be it. 1/2 p minus 1/4 p plus 4. There it is. That makes sense. And it can't be B because look, they've got a positive here instead of the negative. So it's not B. It is definitely C. Now we've got to get to the second part. What was Tim's likely error? What did he do? What was the error? What was the problem? Well, let's look what he did up here. Now we had that 1/2 p minus 1/4 p plus 4. Well, he did a couple of things wrong. We have to convert this 1/2 into fourths in order to subtract anyway. So we have to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So really that's 2/4. So let's go ahead and fix this. This is really going to be 2/4 p. So 2/4 p minus 1/4 p is going to be 1/4 p. And then the 4 just stays there. So what did he do wrong? He did not change the signs of both terms in the parentheses. We know this to be true because he got 3/4 p. That means he went plus 2/4 p plus 1/4 p, and the negative minus the negative, he still had a -4 instead of having a positive 4. So he did not change the signs of both the terms in the parentheses.
Alright students, now that we've learned how to subtract expressions, you should be good to go. So, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below so that I can help you out with future topics. Until next time, see you later.
It's fun!